All right, I've got the noise going on with my timing belt, and I'm going to fire up my 2003 ALH TDI Jetta. I removed the top timing belt cover, and I'm going to let you guys hear this thing, because if it is the timing belt, maybe this will help some people out. But this is what's going on. It's either the timing belt or the cam. I hope the cam isn't more. But in 03s and 02s, I hear the cams are made out of real cheap metal. But listen to this. Also got a leak. The leak started here. So that's kind of got me perturbed because my cam seal's leaking. I'm kind of wondering if I don't have an issue with a bearing now. They don't have bearings. Well, from what I understand, the bearings are set. The head doesn't have a bearing for the cam. Kind of a stupid design, in my opinion. But I'm going to change the timing belt today, water pump, do all that, serpentine belt. This belt isn't too old, but it's starting to show. I mean, you can see the little humps here, and that's starting to show through. So the belt's wore. I got, what, 100 and something, 60,000 miles in this thing now. Let's take a look. 167,000 miles. I was told the timing belt was new, recent at 97, so... but then I did have that issue where we were overheating because the hood bonnet was sagging down, restricting the airflow going through, basically ruining the engine and transmission. So I'm going to go ahead and get this done today. The way I'm going to do it, because I really don't want to remove the cam sprocket or the valve cover or any of this stuff just yet. The way I do it is that at any point where the belt engages the first tooth on the sprocket, I will mark this on each sprocket. So where it engages the first tooth on each sprocket, and then somewhere as a reference point, 90 degrees away or 80 degrees away. So first tooth, go 80 degrees, mark down on the tooth side, and you can see where I made a mark here. If you can, I don't know if the light's good. See that? So then that'll be one of my marks. I'll just use my old marks and remark the belt, right? And then when I get everything done, you can see another mark there. So I've got to turn the engine and get my marks where I want them. When I get all done, putting the new belt on and the water pump and the idler pulley and whatever other pulleys I got to do, you have to count your teeth on your new belt, count your teeth on your old belt, and make your exact marks on the new belt, and then line those up. One of the things I don't like on the design on this motor is a cam sprocket, the way it sets in here. There's a keyway inside between the camshaft and cam sprocket, but they don't use keyways on them. They just are a conical fit. So it's real hard to get that reference point of where you were at, unless you were to mark your, you have to mark the pulley or the sprocket and the shaft, which you'd have to do with a punch. So if I ever have to take that off, that's how I'll do it. Of course, I'll put the motor top dead center, because you have your top dead center spot here that you can view through your hole into your bell housing. So that's what I'm fixing to do after I drain the antifreeze. Get the motor to top dead center. I don't want to take off the valve cover just yet, if I can avoid it. And then get everything off of here, replace the seal on the cam, sprocket or camshaft, replace all the crap on the side of the engine here, put it back together. I'm going to use a drift pin to lock my pump and the cam. So it's going to be a long day. So anyway, the point of this video was to get people to hear that sound. So if anyone has a heads up on on what they've experienced with that sound, where the belt's making that oscillating, squeaking sound, post a comment, be helpful. But if I get this done, it's not the serpentine belt. If I get this done and the problem goes away, problem solved. If I get this done, I have to do it anyway, right? Do the timing belt and all this stuff, and it continues to do that, then I'm going to have to replace the cam. So, which really sucks. But there, so it goes. There's another $300 in parts, but I'm hoping that's not the case. I didn't start leaking oil until I started using Pentosh. Oh, did I say brand name? I mean that German oil. So I'm not going to continue to use that German oil. I'm going to go back to using Mobil full synthetic, because I've never had an issue with Mobil full synthetic leaking unless I was high mileage, and in my opinion I'm not high mileage at 167,000. So I'm going back to what tried and true oil that I've always used. I just let someone talk me into something else, so my bad. So anyway, if you got some insight or comments into this noise, please let me know. Post a comment. I appreciate it. I'll do an update when I'm all done, and we'll see how this goes. All right. Take care.